Well, Pam, fans are flocking out of the Superdome right now. Ravens fans obviously very happy. Dejected Niners fans.
This is my dad, brother, and me leaving the Super Bowl last year. The reason we were there is an amazing story, and a story which shows why we love football.
Because in football, like with family, it's through sacrifice that we find unity.
Let's talk about the power outage. What was your thought when all of a sudden lights went out and we were in dimly lit?
I had been trying to tell our story of sacrifice for 14 years. So when Will Tran from Cron 4 approached me with a microphone and camera, I saw my chance.
The three of us had been to the Super Bowl in 1990 with 2 tickets, and one of us had to stay outside. My dad stayed outside the game in 1990, the greatest Super Bowl ever in Miami, when John Taylor caught that catch.
What did you think? Could you step up a little?
Clearly, I failed that attempt, so we'd like to take another crack telling the story.
I was transferred by my company in 1988 clear across the country from San Francisco to Orlando, Florida.
This meant that our tradition of watching the 49ers on TV stopped and the Niners were rarely broadcast. That is, of course, until they made the playoffs.
The motion man. The Rice touchdown.
Somebody at work gave me 2 tickets to the Super Bowl.
Dad came home from work and said he had something important to talk about. So naturally, I thought our dog had died.
My dad tells us he has 2 tickets to the Super Bowl in Miami and that one of us can come. So we flip a coin.
I won.
The night before the game, I felt terrible, really guilty. I just had to bring both my boys to Miami and somehow try to come up and get a hold of a 3rd ticket for me.
The next morning, somehow, I was woken up at 5 a.m. with my dad saying, "Get in the car."
The three of us drove from Orlando down to Miami and tailgated at Joe Robbie Stadium.
Andy and I went in the game alone, bringing our ugly sign and leaving my dad outside.
So I spent 40 minutes scouring the parking lot, searching for an affordable ticket. No luck. Jumped on the top of the car and turned on the radio as loud as I could.
Throws over the middle. A fight gets right into the 20. He's down to the 19 for a first down.
I really wanted to be inside that stadium for that final drive. All I could do was just sit on the hood of the Ford and watch and listen to the stadium actually shaking, and it seemed like it was vibrating.
At the 10-yard line, 39 seconds remaining. Back to throw Montana. Stepped up, throws.
Many call it the greatest Super Bowl that there ever was. But it wasn't until we were older that we really realized how much he gave up by listening to the game on the radio on the hood of his car.
Paul and I had talked about getting Dad back for a number of years, but that was during the dark ages of the 49ers.
Now fast forward 14 years when the Niners beat the Falcons to advance again to the Super Bowl. I take out my phone and I text Paul.
As soon as the game was over, I got a text from him saying, 3 tickets to New Orleans? ?
My older son, Paul, called and asked me if I wanted to see the 49ers and the Ravens in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. But unfortunately, my wife and I had planned a Super Bowl party at our house, and I really didn't want to leave her in the lurch.
Of course, I knew what was going on, so I told Paul to call the boys back and tell him that he was going. This was a wonderful payback.
So it was on. Paul and I never forgot about Dad's sacrifice, so we pooled our savings together, but this time we got 3 tickets.
You could say we had a decent time in New Orleans.
All aboard! You're not from New Orleans. Let me hear you scream. Hope you're feeling better now.
My sons and I really had a tremendous amount of fun. That was until the game started.
The loss was brutal.
Even though we lost that game, what we won was the sense of unity, a feeling stronger than victory, and a feeling that permeates the entire family, including the next generation of 49er fans.